what if Diddy wasn't the only one? What if one of hip-hop's most recognizable voices, Fat Joe, the charismatic Bronx storyteller who gave the world Lean Back, What's Love, and the anthemic All the Way Up, has been hiding a shadow empire darker than anyone ever imagined? All it took was a single lawsuit, filed on a quiet Tuesday in federal court, to crack that legend wide open. For 17 years, Terrence T.A. Dixon lived in Fat Joe's orbit. Hype man, bodyguard, tour manager, studio ghost, and secret co-writer on more than 20 records. T.A.'s resume reads like a greatest hits B-side. Global tours, late-night studio sessions, last-minute TV appearances. Yet his name never appears in the official liner notes. According to T.A., that erasure wasn't an accident. It was the first layer of a much larger cover-up. On May 14, 2025, he filed a 97-page complaint that accuses Fat Joe and a tight inner circle of running an illicit enterprise under the RICO Act, the same racketeering statute used to dismantle mafia families and lately to corner hip-hop moguls. The paperwork reads like a blockbuster screenplay. Forged split sheets, phantom wire transfers, intimidation flights canceled at the gate, and a pyramid of shell companies with names like Sneaker Addict Touring LLC and Slate Inc. that allegedly laundered millions. Hook. If you knew the price of disobedience, T.A. writes in one affidavit, you'd never step out of line again. But missing royalties were just the opening act. T.A. claims he co-penned hooks on All the Way Up, Congratulations, Ice Cream, and a stack of unreleased demos whispered about in A&R circles. Promised 15% of publishing, he says he received $0 while forged split sheets, bearing signatures he swears aren't his, found their way to BMI and ASCAP. Six-figure statements rolled in, yet the wires to T.A.'s account stayed empty. When he finally pressed for an audit, lawyers from Roc Nation allegedly sent a single-paragraph response. Mr. Dixon's contributions do not meet the threshold for royalty participation. T.A. calls that gaslighting. But what really infuriated him were the digital breadcrumbs. Metadata on Pro Tools sessions showing his vocal tags, time-stamped lyric sheets saved under his login. They turned me into a phantom, T.A. told Rolling Stone in an interview 2 weeks after filing. Problem is, ghosts don't stay quiet forever. With royalties stonewalled, T.A. turned forensic accountant. He tracked merch payments routed through UPNYC, a flashy sneaker boutique where entry-level clerks somehow drove $90,000 cars. Payroll records, he alleges, show employees earning $28,000 on paper while receiving $4,000 a week in cash, funds prosecutors believe originated from unreported show deposits smuggled home in duffel bags. During the pandemic, the empire allegedly doubled down. 3 Paycheck Protection Program loans, totaling $2.1 million, were filed under sister firms whose only address was a P.O. box in Miami. The loan officer? A woman T.A. labels Erica Morera the fake lawyer, who, according to business registries, isn't licensed in any state bar. Auditors now suspect that stimulus cash helped cover back taxes, and, ironically, the very legal retainers now defending the case. When asked by Billboard for comment, Fat Joe's spokesperson issued a 2-word email: facts omitted. So where did the rest of the cash go? T.A.'s answer tumbles into even darker territory. T.A. describes a culture of obedience, a traveling circus in which your airline ticket, hotel key, and per diem envelope could vanish the moment you questioned orders. Say no, and you're sleeping in the lobby, he writes. Say no, and your flight home simply disappears. One 2016 night in Miami, after a sold-out show, Joe allegedly summoned crew to a penthouse suite. The air smelled of hookah and champagne. The floor, T.A. recalls, was littered with sneaker boxes stuffed with cash. Joe reportedly pointed to a female fan and barked at T.A., "Get your D up or get out." Crew members laughed while iPhones filmed. T.A. says he was ordered to perform intimate acts, while Joe issued color commentary from an armchair. According to the suit, Fat Joe's security chief Pistol Pete, Pedro Torres, treated every green room like a command center. Minicams, no bigger than coat hooks, peppered backstage ceilings. Footage allegedly fed to a private cloud account labeled TSI, short for Terror Squad I. T.A. says he once watched Pete scrub files after a brawl, muttering, "Catch up on that one," a code he claims meant slash and forget. The complaint lists 34 separate incidents in which crew members were punished for lateness, attitude, or questioning payouts. T.A. alleges he was forced into over 4,000 coerced acts, some consensual by law, others squarely illegal. each filmed, sometimes live-streamed to Joe's inner circle for entertainment. In June 2021, TA refused a late-night directive on a Madrid tour stop. Hours later, his per diem card was disabled and his hotel reservation mysteriously vanished from the system. He slept in the terminal until a sympathetic merch vendor spotted him and paid for a budget room. That defiance, TA says, triggered the "line him up" call, an audio file now in DOJ hands. In the recording, Pete allegedly tells a mutual friend, "He can't come round the hood. Needs to be dealt with accordingly." When the friend balks, Pete answers, "Don't ever tell me you won't bring a ninja to me." TA interprets that as solicitation for assault, maybe worse. Federal agents have neither confirmed nor denied the tape's authenticity, but sources close to the investigation say voice print analysis is underway. If verified, those 42 seconds could transform the civil suit into a criminal probe. And yet, as dark as that sounds, the next chapter drags the story into truly forbidden territory. The lawsuit introduces Minion 1, Minion 2, and Minion 3, pseudonyms for three girls who were 16, 15, and 13-15 when they allegedly entered Joe's orbit. TA claims Joe flaunted them as future stars, financing cosmetic surgery for one and studio sessions for another. One track, She's My Mama, allegedly matches Minion 3's life story line for line, references to flying her cross oceans, holding the rug, and teaching her things school can't. Most explosive is the accusation that Joe facilitated under-the-radar payoffs through burner phones, hush contracts, and cryptic cash drops delivered in sneaker boxes. The suit even names producer Dre of Cool and Dre, alleging he confessed to relations with a 15-year-old vocalist, confession that Joe supposedly buried by engineering an NDA and wiping her fledgling career from streaming platforms. Child exploitation specialists have flagged the case to federal prosecutors. If any portion holds up, Joe could face charges under the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, a statute carrying sentences measured in decades. Why so quiet? Insiders whisper that labels learned from the Diddy fallout earlier this year. Rather than issue reflexive defenses, they're waiting for subpoenas. One entertainment attorney told Variety off-record, "Nobody wants to be the guy defending Harvey Weinstein in 2025. A handful of artists, many of whom owed Joe early career cosigns, tweeted cryptic emojis, then deleted them. The Bronx Borough President's Office canceled a planned Fat Joe Day celebration slated for August 2025. Spotify quietly downgraded Joe's banner placement, replacing him on key playlists with trending drill artists. Still, a core fanbase dismisses the lawsuit as clout chasing. On TikTok, the number Terror Squad challenge, fans mimicking Joe's 2001 flow, pulled 42 million views in 72 hours. Comment sections split between Free Joe and Believe TA. As of June 25, 2025, Fat Joe's team has filed a motion to dismiss, calling the complaint a fantastical blend of half-truths and urban legend. They argue that TA, having consented to groupie culture, is respinning adult encounters as coercion for a payday. But civil attorneys counter that consent obtained under financial duress is no consent at all. Discovery requests now demand archives from BMI, ASCAP, Live Nation, and even sneaker resale platforms, hoping to map the money trail. If federal prosecutors choose to piggyback, Joe could be staring down criminal indictments before year's end. The stakes? Multi-million-dollar damages, potential forfeiture of masters, and if criminal charges stick, a sentence that could outlast the career he built over 3 decades. Fat Joe always rapped, "Yesterday's price ain't today's price." The question now, what's the cost of silence breaking? If TA's allegations withstand the courtroom spotlight, the fallout won't stop at one artist. It will sweep through booking agencies, sneaker brands, label boardrooms, and every crew member who ever shrugged off the whispers. In the post-Diddy era, prosecutors smell blood. One conviction begets another, and the next domino could be even larger. So watch the docket, because if Fat Joe's empire collapses, the Bronx won't be the only place feeling the aftershocks. Hip-hop, for the first time in its 50-year history, may have to look in the mirror and decide just how much darkness it's willing to own. Stay tuned. The story is still writing itself, and what comes next might shock us all.